Alright, so this is my media summative personal narrative portion, and so it is going to be on the topic of how has media warped our perception of beauty and normal? For example, when we look in the mirror, do we see who we really are? Instead, are we seeing ourselves in comparison to the advertisement of prettier people? Do we just see the flaws that have been told need fixing or hiding? Do we search for filters that can smooth out our complexion and imperfections to achieve the ideals of beauty perpetuated by the media? In other words, are we at a point where we don't see us anymore? The way media portrays women and beauty of any kind has strayed so far from natural anymore that it's really hard to figure out what we're looking at anymore. We're not looking at the beauty standards that we had been in the past, and we're also facing a new issue of beauty becoming a fad and a trend and something that is very important to society as a whole anymore. And beauty used to be something that was important, but it was important in a different way, and now it's important in a selfish look at me kind of way, and it's not portraying the same standards that it used to. And so one can ask themselves the following questions. When you look in a magazine, do you find people who look like you? When you find these ones in these magazines or ads, do you actually find them beautiful? And when you look in the mirror, do you see you? So I'm going to elaborate on that first question of when you look in a magazine, do you find people who look like you? The media really shows only one standard of beauty anymore, and this is typically a skinny, tan, fit person. And unless it's a makeup ad, usually they'll add some like more paler or darker complexions. But really, this is a very narrow spectrum, and this is not how most people look. What about the people who are really tall? What about the people who are really short? Really, the only time you ever see them portrayed in the media is when they're on a TV show on a network like TLC of the My Giant Life or Little People Big World. Like, that's the only time you see that kind of out of the norm standard from the typical beauty. And this is really wrong. And what about acne? You only ever see acne portrayed in a negative light in the media. You either see it in cover up, like makeup commercials, or wash away, like cleansing, like Proactive commercials. So it's not portraying real people. It's always, you're not good enough, you don't look like this, you need to buy more. And that's really discouraging, and that's really frustrating. You don't look into the media anymore and see people that look like you, and that's not how media used to be. Like, you could look at an ad and you would see somebody who looked real, who wasn't edited, something that you could achieve by using that product or something of that sort. It's not the same as it is nowadays. The next question was, when you find these ones, do you actually find them beautiful? And this was a very thought-provoking question of mine, and I've noticed that a lot of people spread body positivity, and they want everybody to look at everybody and find them truly beautiful. But if you look at how they're trying to portray themselves, like there's fitness channels, and not fitness channels, fitness like Instagram accounts and stuff, and they're about body positivity, and they post the negative or not as beautiful parts of their like body, like certain people will show their cellulite, or when they stand normally, how their stomach lays, or how whatever it is, right? But then they also, 90% of the time, are posting pictures of themselves in an altered standing position, or an altered photo light, or an altered filter, because although they want to spread that body positivity and they are portraying that, they're also trying to cover it up in a lot, and they're still in your own home. When you stand in the mirror, do you stand and put yourself in a manner that when people see you, you know how to stand, so you look the most flattered or the most conformed to the typical beauty standards? And so really, I think a lot of people want to say and they want to believe that they do find these people beautiful, but I don't believe that they do. And that's a mindset that needs to change. That's not a media thing that needs to change. That's how we need to change. We need to change and be like, hey, this is beautiful. This is real. This is beautiful. I can achieve this. This is something that is what beauty is about. So that's another piece to this puzzle. And the final question that I had was, when you look in the mirror, do you see you? And so, yeah, you can look in the mirror and you can be like, that's me, that's what I look like, but how much of what you have on or what you do your makeup as is something that you found in the media that you have altered towards it? For instance, I'm going to use myself as an example. Right now, my eyebrows and my eyelashes and my highlight is all something that's very popular beauty standard in the media. Would I like it if it wasn't something that was popular in the media? Would I find it beautiful if it was somebody who was part of a subculture who didn't fit that dominant culture? Would I feel that it's something beautiful if it wasn't something that was portrayed in media? Like, you see highlight all the time in media. You see eyebrows and how to achieve a proper eyebrow or longer lashes. Is that something that I would do to myself if that wasn't something that was portrayed in media? So when I look in the mirror, am I looking at me, or am I looking at what I think I need to be based off of the beauty standards in the media? And that's something that I think everybody needs to look into and evaluate of, is that, like, yeah, I can feel good, but I feel good to today's beauty standards. 50 years ago, this wouldn't be something that would most likely make me feel good because it's not necessarily what fits those beauty standards. So each one of us is allowing the media to affect us in our own way, and that's not a wrong thing, because yeah, you're going to go with the times, but you need to evaluate what you're seeing in the mirror and how much of that is your influence and how much of that is something that you've seen on the internet, whether subconsciously or consciously. And so that's something that everybody really needs to pay attention to as well. Overall, I think that beauty used to be defined by what your mom and what your sister and what your aunt looked like, not what the model on the front of People magazine looked like. With the rise of media, that started to change, and it started to shift from the people around you and real beauty standards of, you're not going to have a size 0 outfit if you are 5'10". Generally, that's not going to happen for you because of your body type. And so by looking into the media, you feel like that's what you need. But by having genuine beauty standards of people and your family around you, you can base what your body is going to look like and what your beauty is based off of your family. When you look around you, how you see what pieces from each person, I think that's beauty. What pieces you got from your family. So like your hair color, which family member did that come from, what, like your eyes, everything, that's beauty. That's what beauty should be based off of. Beauty shouldn't be based off of person on the front of the magazine. And if they have blonde hair and you're excited because, oh my goodness, the person front of People magazine has blonde hair, that's beautiful. Meanwhile, your mom and your grandma's always had beautiful blonde hair. And so that's something that we all need to look at. And it seems to be that it's only an unreachable standard that we are all trying to achieve, because somebody is always going to be prettier than us. But the question is, will you break that mold, and will you stand up for what you think is beautiful and oppose the media standard?